Leaders in Kigezi region have outlined demands that the government must fulfill before they vacate the wetlands. President Museveni has consistently urged all Ugandans cultivating in wetland areas to vacate as part of environmental restoration efforts. In late 2023, Museveni ordered the forceful eviction of individuals still cultivating in wetlands. However, Museveni noted that people in the Kigezi, Busoga and Bukedya regions should be assisted during vacation with alternative means of livelihood because they were misled by colonialists. In January 2024, authorities in Kabale, Rubanda, Rukunjili and Kanungu districts commenced implementing the directive by destroying locals' crops grown in wetlands and issuing directives prohibiting further cultivation in these areas. This move left farmers and political leaders angry. A section of farmers led by Dennis Nzirwe, the former resident district commissioner, through their lawyer Justus Muhanji of Muhanji and Partners Advocates, petitioned the president in March 2024 protesting the forceful eviction. They argued that the eviction would leave dairy farmers who have been feeding their cows from wetlands to lose 5.4 billion shillings from milk and 6.2 billion shillings from meat sold per year. On Friday and Saturday, the 8th to 9th of August 2024, NEMA and Operation Wealth Creation officials held a high-profile meeting with leaders from the Kigezi region at Cephas Inn in Kabale district to discuss how to implement Museveni's directives. The meeting was chaired by Dr. Chris Varyomunsi, the Minister for Information and National Guidance, and Balega Akankwasa, the NEMA Executive Director. John Nidzaimana Kamara, Bufombera North County MP in Kisoro District, explained that he is ready to vacate the wetland since he has already started fish farming, where he expects a ready market in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo.
I contacted people in Kisoro who sell fish. They said you can't get market. I contacted people from Rwanda. You know their behaviors, these manners of ours. Now Mkorodin is a man, and you know her name is Nduriman. Yes. So Kamariman. So I found I can't save there my fish because now if I remove water, I have their fish here. At least if less money for 5 billion, and there are not very many ponds. Consider this fish, a fish of 20 kilograms. How much do you sell? If, for example, you have only 50,000 fish, how much is that? Only 50,000. So, I said, let me not remove water, let me wait for this war of Congo to cease down, so that I can maybe contact these people of Rutshuro, Welikare, Masisi, Kiwanja, Goma, Butembo, Rutshuro, those ones, at least like Seguro, Ishasha, those ones, I think I have some dollars, then I can sell it to them. So my brothers and sisters here, for me, when you are convincing us, Mr. Ibisa, now this one become a serious matter. We can easily accept to work with you if we clearly know. This one have been just doing it because for nights they were just giving me seedlings of tea. Talk to our Musea, you know, he wants us to get out of poverty, and we can get these funders. Whether it is raining, whether we are conserving even in the forest, we have these countries that I have seen that some United Nations want that these people bring dollars. You don't even convince us to leave these wetlands. We just go do these projects. We finally export this fish. For those ones who say that we can't get fish in Kigezi, you will just come and benchmark from Kamara.
Henry Ariganyila Musasizi, the Minister of State for Finance, Planning and Economic Development and General Duties, said that all farmers he has contacted are ready to vacate as long as they are compensated.
I am happy that the scientists who advise us acknowledged that parts of Kigezi, Bukedya and another region, Busoga, have since colonial times been living on these wetlands and also doing economic activity on these wetlands. And therefore, we have an exception to discuss, to talk about how do we get out of this. I also want to give you a fact. In Nangara, which is also my constituency, Nangara Nyameru, the landslides are taking away people from these wetlands. Because of the persistent landslides, it's no longer viable to grow your Irish in the wetland, because when the rain comes, it will take away everything. So, what do we do, ladies and gentlemen? Some time back I told the President that some of us are willing to leave wetlands if we are paid. And my father owns 30 acres in the wetland. He keeps some Frisian cows there. But if we can be paid, for us we are willing to leave. In the interest of protecting the environment. I know I have talked to Mzee Kataratambi here in Bubare. He is also willing to leave. So you news people, don't say, I know you are fond of misquoting me. I have another. If we are paid, we are willing to. Before you misquote me, you first say whether you have a wetland or not. I have talked to Kataratambi, he is willing to leave. I have talked to Stephen Bamanga here in Chonyo, Katuna Road, he is willing to leave. I have talked to the OSG family, care of Spencer. If he is paid, he is also willing to leave. And many of our people in Rwanda, the only challenge is the question they ask, where do we go? But if given money to look for alternative source of livelihood and to maybe acquire some land somewhere, we are using of shifting to Bunyoro and other areas, our people can actually get out of these wetlands because we need the rainfall, we need to protect the water quality and other things.
However, James Ruji Kaberuka, the Chinchiz West MP in Kanungu district, accused NEMA and district environment officers of rushing to cut down farmers' crops without proper sensitization. Also argued that the government's style of compensating affected farmers in groups is unfair. They further accused NEMA officials of telling lies that 141 hectares of wetland out of the targeted 2,682 along River Ntungwa has been restored, claiming that nothing has been restored so far.
And he gathered all leaders of Kigezi up to parish level. You will call the Honorable Minister. We gathered at Mutobeli. And the issue was about wetland and waste segregation. That time, he told us that he was going to look for money to make sure we get out of the wetland. And we thank him for that initiative. Since that time, it is today when I have had another engagement on these issues of wetland. That means that in between there has been a gap. There has been a gap. What the president did to look for money, because I understand this GCF is part of the money that the president looked for to make sure it helps the people to get out of wetland. I was calculating, Honorable Minister, the 44 million US dollars. Is it about 1.7 trillion? About 1.7 trillion. That money has been sunk. I don't know whether it is still on, but one thing I want to know, can we get to know how much has been sunk in Kanungu, Rwanda, Kisoro, Kabale, Ruchiga, such that we have that clustered, we have that money clearly spelled here in this meeting. So this could be another scenario similar to that. Because I am a member of parliament, since that time up to date, I have never known how that money is spent. I don't know, we share the same district. I don't know whether you have ever had another engagement on the same. Maybe you will tell us. The methodology being used, because Honorable Minister, I am practical. I am practical. I heard that people were being, people's gardens were being cut. They cried to me. I called my RDC, and the RDC said, okay, we can have a meeting together. So when I went down, I found they were slashing the tomatoes, the yams. How better can we use the wetlands? They cut the coffee of people. How can the coffee grow in the wetland? And people, the president has been promoting coffee. Then you cut the coffee, an acre of coffee. Is it in the wetland? What is a wetland? Of the people? You look at the stakeholders, you look at many tenets before you reach at real implementation. So that's when we retreated and we said, let them first do that work, and that was just 2 weeks ago. Just 2 weeks ago from today. When people's gardens have been slashed down, and you purport to have given some livelihood, alternative livelihood, whatever, to the people. Now, my other issue is, really, if you are giving alternatives, Kakuru has said they give in a group. Land is owned individually. Then you give a piglet to a group. The piglet, you give it a group as an alternative livelihood. Am I owning land in a group? That one is also becoming another challenge for our minister. Was it inclusive of the views of the people on the ground? The chairman of NRM are here. Have you been consulted? Because the president of this government will go to majority vote. Why should people pull him down, just hiding in those processes which are manipulating the illiterates? Someone said the illiterates get manipulated, and I want to tell you, Honorable Kamara has shown us a project, but he has not told us how much money he invested in. How I wish he had also told us how much he used it to have this project. And whether a piglet, when you say a piglet, you can have such a project in your area. Let's get out of rice. When we are here, we need to be careful, because one of our ministers did the things we can lie. It is the alternative truth. Alternative truth, okay. So when you say 141 hectares and in Tungwa, I was there with the RDC, with the team of security people. Honorable Zeph is here. No single dot has been recovered. So, who is this one writing this report? Who is this one writing this report? So we need to be careful, and I want to tell you, many projects in Uganda are cosmetically presented when actually they are not on the ground. So, can we really support the president by helping him to appreciate the real projects and alternative way of getting our people from wetland other than giving him, you know, imaginary proposals. As the way I saw the imaginary list of Kanu, of the people who were listed, were not residents of where? Of those places. He didn't have any land on the wetland.
Pierre Mbabazi Ntejelize, the Rwanda District Deputy Speaker, and Wilfred Alinda Sheka, Rwanda District Male Youth Councillor, demanded that before farmers vacate, the government should first establish irrigation schemes in Hire areas of Ubale, Kachekano, and Kalenjere and Nyanamo in Rwanda. They also want the government to educate farmers on other methods of soil protection like contour ploughing, mulching, and terracing.
I'm suggesting that the government establishes the water pumping system to harness water from Lake Mudonyi to distribute it to all the Hire areas of Kigezi, to enhance farm productivity and boost food security. Because if we have water, which can be pumped from Lake Mudonyi to areas like Kagarama, areas like Kalenjere, you go to Rwanda where we have 480, you go to Chika where they have 293. All of those are villages which make 3,030-something villages. If I zero to Rwanda, Rwanda has families, we have 5,080 families in families. As well as Rwanda. As a Wakwata Rwanda, when you zero to a family, you can, even if we calculate at the average of 5 per household, you will get to know how many people in Rwanda who are benefiting in wetlands. Then you're not minding up now, not going to Rukunji, which has 1,000 villages. Now you can even know now how many families they might be having. I wrote a letter to the ministry. When they didn't reply me, I wrote to State House to the president. Now they got my letter in the State House and took it to the Ministry of Environment. I have copies. Ministry of Environment replied to State House when they had refused to reply mine. And the State House called me and they gave me the letter they replied to them. In this letter, Ministry of Environment was saying, in Kigezi, they are going only to compensate, that is Kigezi where I've told you that area. Only 103, I have a letter from the ministry. 103 people, abantikana bashatu. Nibo ministry na compensating. This compensation here, my MP, the Honorable Minister, was talking about. What you see, we have to understand this. Government works with the paper and the pen. Minus that, you are wasting time. That's why I want to call upon our MPs who are here and the ministers to go to Parliament, write things. Not to come here in Rwanda, you tell people to go to wetlands, and when they arrest some, you will switch off your phone. We have to see things which are written. Now, no, you said you have a meaning that you have to speak the truth. Among the things I have is open criticism, but within. Now we are in the house, so we have to speak the truth. Among the things that happened to Mr. Kakuru, the first letter that the president received, I don't know if it is Kakuru this one, or Kakuru from Rushiga, but Kakuru and the group wrote a letter to the president and said, we have measured in Kigezi, which was including in the Honorable Manganga, and they told the president that we have identified 8 square kilometers of wetlands in Kigezi. So Honorable, what you are saying that they come and survey, it is already surveyed.
And they know them.
And they know. And they say, that's why I was saying I need to give you information if we are to do this, because I have wrote letters, they have replied to me, and I have copies. Now, when they wrote to the president, I have even a copy, which the president replied, and he said, yes, thank you, you have showed me this. Now we shall see how we work out to see this one put into effect. So, you see where now things are. Now if you look at these people, 103, whom the ministry is saying they are going to compensate, before we go to that, in that letter which they wrote to the State House, there is a saying that we are saying they have already, there is a money which had been already allocated to the ministry, and they were saying they have already spent 1 billion in sensitization. I have that data. They were saying they have spent it in sensitization. I don't know about where, but there is another Kigezi or another area. Now, when you look at all that, that is what where it is coming from. People who are saying that we want to be compensated and we leave the wetland are not the ones, they are only 100 compared to millions which I Kigezi.
Exactly.
103, because it is in the letter. I said I have the copy, and now if you say we proceed tomorrow, we bring even that copy, I have it. Then the ministry will deny it. They never wrote it because I have it. You are saying in the 40s there was malnutrition in Kigezi. Even today, Kigezi is the one which is heading and on top in the whole country, not even in Karamoja, in malnutrition. If we are saying I'm deceiving, newsmen are here and we have doctors, they can prove to us. We have malnutrition in Kigezi than never before. Actually, what is happening in wetlands, even people who are using the wetlands, you find someone who comes, let me show you an example, like from here to Katuna. You find the wetland is owned by 2 people. Because the people who got wetlands in 1940s sold it to others. People made farms. People are having a land, someone will rent a wetland, and he will again harvest all Irish, take it to Rwanda.
Wilfred Niwagaba, the Ndora East County MP in Kabale District, said that consultations on how compensation is done should be conducted with individual affected farmers, rather than just the government guessing what to give. Niwagaba also demanded a fresh survey and mapping of the wetlands.
All of us know the importance of wetlands. However, for Kigezi, we must know the history of when and why people entered wetlands. Wetlands drainage in Kigezi began in the 40s and 50s by the colonial government. Because the Bachiga, most of the Bachiga, bakaba mwine kwa shako, mutuku, by the malnutrition. So the Bazungu drained the wetlands and gave them to the people. And from that time, they ceased to be wetlands but became lands for the respective individuals. Awamwe, Benebiapa, but they have been using those lands as their own individual lands. Now, if government wants to take back those lands to form them back into wetlands, there are certain things I would recommend that they be done. And the first one is, can we have a proper survey and mapping of all of these lands that you want to be restored as wetlands? And 2, in the mapping and surveying them, can you deal directly with the individual landowners and the village LC chairpersons? The business of NEMA coming and cutting people's gardens without prior consultation is actually trespass. It is actually trespass. Actually, in Nonganga environment, we see one of the legal means of resisting trespass is to resist physically. So, because these are their lands. So, when you have done all of that, mapped, surveyed, then you say, okay, talk to the respective affected individuals. Stop this business of generalization. So deal with the individual owners. And remember, because this is their land, the Constitution provides under Article 26. If you want to take, because you are literally compulsorily taking back their land to restore the mill to wetlands, the Constitution mandates you to first pay proper and adequate compensation at an individual
level. Mureke kubigeneralizing as if, because land is owned individually. So let's do it that way. It's a good we all value, but let us handle individual by individual, but after you have mapped, surveyed and mapped. And you do not need to cut people's plans to do the survey and mapping. You don't need to. And most of we now have so many cases in court against the government. It was not necessary. This kind of engagement is better. So, set teams or they are all in my constituency. And you have never invited the affected individuals, you have never invited us leaders, no good. But yeah, and we wouldn't want it that way. So I can pass. Do it that way.
As a woman representing the women all over the district, I still insist that even if they bring that compensation, it will be given to rich people who are using that land, not even benefiting them. They are renting it out to those who have nothing. So even if they compensate, they will compensate the rich people. And the 190 will be left to suffer. So I therefore say that if the president wants to relocate them, let him do it, knowing that they will also benefit from the scheme. If the president wants to compensate, let the feasibility study be done on who has been using this wet. Because you cannot bring that compensation to me, the woman MP, and you think that it is me who has been using that land. Meaning that the other person who has been renting it out will have nothing to feed the children, the whole district. Children have nothing to eat. And because of the washed soils and the quality of food that is being got from that soil is not rich enough in vitamins.
The restoration program set to be implemented by 2025 is valued at $44,262,000 US, funded by the Ugandan government, Green Climate Fund, GCF, and United Nations Development Program, UNDP. Memory Guma Aguma for iTelevision.